Is this over? But that's a powerhouse about to enter the mid-stage of 5-star Douxian. Looking at Xiao Yin with a goofy smile, Yuer's beautiful eyes sparkled with an expression of shock. Yuer still vividly remembered the overwhelming strength of Xin Yuan. She recalled how, with the power of early-stage 5-star Douxian, Xin Yuan had wiped out a mid-stage 5-star Douxian powerhouse. But now, who would have thought that this seemingly invincible Xin Yuan would be so easily dealt with by Xiao Yin? This made Yuer's heart fill with a trace of horror. This guy's shadow, there's something wrong. AI Xun'er had been standing still from the start, and soon noticed some subtle fluctuations around Xiao Yin. When Xiao Yin fought Tianfeng earlier, AI Xun'er hadn't disturbed him to avoid distracting him, but from that moment on, she had noticed that Xiao Yin had no shadow behind him. The enemies should be dealt with. Let's get to business. Xiao Yin walked over, flicked his finger, and extinguished all the remaining ghostly energy in the area. He spoke, but as the Fire Guard ruler withdrew his power, Xiao Yan's shadow returned to normal. Thank you for earlier. Yuer no longer hesitated and directly walked toward the ice sculpture at the center of the ice palace. The cold jade spirit bamboo was extremely important to her. Without its protection, her soul body would be unable to touch the sacred flame, and even entering the sacred flame space would result in her immediate annihilation. Inside the ice sculpture was the cold jade spirit bamboo, frozen in ice. However, at this moment, everyone's attention was focused on the spirit object inside the ice sculpture, unaware of the subtle distortions in the void and the movements of little Zhuoma. Whoosh! As Xiao Yin and Yuer walked toward the center of the ice palace, a series of eerie, sinister winds suddenly surged from an unknown direction. This thing. As they got closer, Yuer and Xiao Yin stood still, both confused, their gazes shifting. Before them stood a massive ice sculpture, several dozen meters tall. The ice sculpture was extremely solid and could only be opened with great skill. Inside, a vivid green plant stood quietly. These ice blocks are not ordinary. After a moment, Yuer shook her head and spoke. When she first arrived, she released her power, trying to break the ice sculpture and retrieve the cold jade spirit bamboo. But she was astonished to find that each time her soul tried to invade the ice, a deep, bone-chilling cold swept through her soul, making her shiver. The level of cold was so extreme that if she persisted, it would freeze her soul power entirely. Such a grave cost was something she couldn't bear. Let me do it. Xiao Yin frowned and spoke helplessly. If it weren't for Yuer having the detailed map of the ferocious soul domain, Xiao Yin wouldn't have endured such frustration. Ever since entering the Undying sacred tome, Xiao Yin had not encountered anything good, instead being treated like a mere pawn serving others. These ice blocks seemed to have life. As soon as Xiao Yan's palm touched the ice sculpture, an uncontrollable cold surged through him, penetrating into his heart. It felt as though he had been thrown into an eternal ice cave. It should be known that Xiao Yin had already tempered his body with various heavenly flames back in the continent of Douqi. With the addition of sacred flame and the dragon god transformation, anything that could still make him feel cold was a sign of extraordinary low temperatures. Let's try with sacred flame. Seeing a thin layer of sweat forming on Xiao Yan's forehead, Yuer hurriedly spoke. The mystery of this ice sculpture far exceeded her expectations. Perhaps only the most powerful flames could do the job. Xiao Yin nodded slightly, and the dazzling, earthy yellow sacred flame flowed like liquid from his body, pouring onto the pure white ice sculpture in front of him. In an instant, the cold jade spirit bamboo, completely frozen within the ice sculpture, began to stir as if it were alive. Its lush green aura revived, causing confusion. Not good. Retreat. In the blink of an eye, Xiao Yan's pupils contracted tightly. It seemed there was something more to the ice sculpture. The ice blocks were absorbing his power. He immediately shouted and attempted to retreat quickly, but the sacred flame within him was slowly absorbed, and even his hand was firmly held by the ice blocks. Perfect opportunity. At the same time, Mu Wushuang, who had been hiding in the shadows, wore an eerie expression. A strange aura swirled around him as he seized the moment of disturbance and shot toward little Zhuoma with lightning speed. His sudden and swift move caught the three of them off guard. Retreat. Xun'er saw this and quickly grabbed little Xun'er to pull back, but stumbled. Russell. Thank you. With a single strike, Mu Wushuang captured the mesmerized little Xun'er, not lingering for long before plunging directly outside the ice palace. Damn it! Seeing this, Xun'er's speed surged as if she was about to chase after them, but was helpless as Mu Wushuang quickly outpaced her. Move, use your soul power. Xiao urgently shouted, not having time to deal with little Xun'er for now. He and Xun'er, bracing against the intense, icy force, saw brilliant soul power surge like a spring, gathering towards the ice sculpture. Whoosh whoosh. A few minutes later, the ice sculpture gradually quieted down, and even on the usually indestructible ice sculpture, cracks began to spread. The absorbed power was then infused into the spirit bamboo. Crack! With a sudden sound, the ice sculpture shattered, and the lush cold jade spirit bamboo was fully exposed in midair, like a broken piece of jade. Clearly, the power Xiao had absorbed seemed to have restored the bamboo to its original state. The transaction should be complete now, Xiao muttered, furrowing his brow as he looked at the scene. This is the map you need. It contains the most detailed route to enter the 4 great halls of the Master of Ferocious Souls. You don't need to worry about me deceiving you. This map was given to me by my master, the head of the Soul Hall. As she spoke, she gently stored the cold jade spirit bamboo in her pouch, then pulled out a translucent jade scroll and tossed it directly to Xiao. No problem. Xiao soul power entered the scroll to examine it. After confirming there were no issues, he carefully put it away. As for the 4 great halls of the Master of Ferocious Souls, Xiao had a strong intuition that, no matter what, he had to go there. Not only for Mu Yingying but also for the lovesickness heartbreak flame. A friendly reminder, the lovesickness heartbreak flame is in the hands of the Master of Ferocious Souls. Even with this map, the defenses of the 4 great halls are far beyond what you can imagine. Until we meet again. Let's meet again at the core of the Undying sacred tome. With those words, Xun'er didn't hesitate and left, leaving only Xiao and Xun'er behind. The ice palace was eerily silent, especially since little Xun'er had been taken away by Mu Wushuang at the last moment. The bottom of the ice palace was now only occupied by Xiao and Xun'er. For a moment, neither of them spoke, lost in their thoughts. Little Xun'er was captured by Mu Wushuang. After a while, Xun'er spoke, her eyes filled with self-blame. She shook her head. From the beginning, she had been the one who had brought little Xun'er along. Now that she had been captured, Xun'er naturally felt some resentment in her heart. Mu Wushuang seems to have been following us ever since he left, but he's also one of the 3 powerful figures of Xintian Palace. Why would he allow 2 experts from the palace to be eliminated without reacting? Xiao stood dumbfounded by the ice sculpture, his brow furrowed in thought. However, there were still many shattered ice fragments around the sculpture, and it seemed like there was something else inside apart from the cold jade spirit bamboo. She should be fine. I can faintly sense her aura. Mu Wushuang seems to be taking her toward the core of the Undying sacred tome. After a breath, Xiao gaze deepened as he looked into the void outside the ice palace. Given Xiao current formidable soul power, without the cover of the Undying mist, he could faintly sense little Xun'er's presence. She should be fine. Moreover, this might even help her recover her memories. Xiao murmured. You seem to know something about her? Hearing this, Xun'er's face showed a hint of confusion. I have the sacred flame, and she seems to have a similar fluctuation in her body, but I'm not sure if it's something she was born with or something given to her. Xiao shook his head. If the gray flame in little Xun'er's body was indeed innate, then this girl was likely the spirit of the Undying fire sacred flame, and her amnesia might be linked to the Master of Ferocious Souls. Otherwise, Xiao had no idea about little Xun'er's true background. Sigh. This girl's background is so mysterious, even my master doesn't know. In that case, let's go to the core of the Undying sacred tome. By now, it's probably gathered many powerful figures. Xun'er spoke. Hee, no rush. There's more than just the cold jade spirit bamboo in this ice palace. Xiao Yin smiled casually, his gaze shifting toward the shattered ice sculpture. Any good items? AI Xun'er, intrigued, immediately jogged over. Take a look. This is such a beautiful ice shard, this thing. Looking at the pure white ice shard slowly resting in Xiao Yan's palm, AI Xun'er's beautiful eyes shimmered, as if she had just recalled something. Xian Ice Realm Shard? In the next moment, AI Xun'er covered her mouth and nose with her small hand, exclaiming in surprise. That's right. If Xun'er hadn't been in such a hurry, we probably wouldn't have gotten our hands on this. Xiao Yin smiled faintly, clearly pleased that their trip to the glacial Heavenly River hadn't been fruitless. The Xian Ice Realm Shard is said to be able to suppress and conceal extreme heat, allowing the user to stay awake. Though it may not be as precious as cold jade spirit bamboo, it's almost on par, AI Xun'er said, smiling with delight. How many are there? A moment later, AI Xun'er asked again, gently tapping her toes to look inside the ice sculpture. 6 in total. This thing should play a crucial role when we enter the core of the Undying Sacred Tome, Xiao Yin replied with a smile. Here, half for each of us. Xiao Yin, being straightforward, directly divided the shards in half. Since that's the case, let's go. AI Xun'er smiled as Xiao Yin handed her 3 of the Xian Ice Realm shards, secretly resolving not to hide anything from him anymore. Where to? Do you perhaps know the way to the core of the Undying Sacred Flame? Xiao Yin had just put away his 3 Xian Ice Realm shards when he turned to look at AI Xun'er, his expression one of surprise. Though the Xian Ice Realm shards' effects were mysterious, for someone like Xiao Yin, who possessed 2 sacred flames, its utility was rather limited. So he had generously given AI Xun'er 3 of them, which was a casual gesture, yet it prompted AI Xun'er to stop hiding things and decide to take Xiao Yin to the core of the Undying Sacred Tome. Of course. AI Xun'er smiled. That's great, but wait a moment. Come out. Suddenly, Xiao Yan's body tensed, and a faint, ghostly light was thrown onto the ice surface, weak yet distinct. Little brat. A voice filled with fury and malice echoed from the ghostly light. This figure was none other than Xian Yuan, who, though once mighty, was now severely weakened, his essence damaged, reduced to a mere ghostly light, looking quite pitiful. I don't have time for your rambling. I just have one question. Are you from the Ghost King realm? Xiao Yin asked. So what if we are? So what if you're not? Either way, the Undying Fire mission has already been secretly arranged by that lord. Even if it's you, you won't be able to obtain the Undying Fire. Once our army arrives in the Ferocious Soul Domain, the mere Ferocious Soul Domain will be nothing more than the souls of our subordinates, Xian Yuan sneered, despite his weak breath. Forget it. I'll interrogate this guy properly when I have time. For now, the competition for the Undying Fire is more important. Xiao Yin said, absorbing Xian Yuan's soul essence into his body, his palms subconsciously clenching. Xiao Yin took note of what Xian Yuan had said but didn't worry too much. No matter how strong the Ghost King realm was, it couldn't compare to the might of the soul-devouring domain. So Xiao Yin wasn't concerned. Hee, don't worry. Let's go. Seeing the serious look in Xiao Yan's eyes, AI Xun'er smiled softly. As her voice faded, a silver light flickered from her jade hand and, in an instant, transformed into a streak of light before them. This girl, she truly deserves to have been taught by the old geezers of the Earth Hall. Xiao Yin thought with a wry smile, unable to help but feel that if it weren't for his earlier lapse, his situation might have turned out quite bad. Let's go. Without further hesitation, the 2 of them took large doses of pills to recover their do qi and stepped into the void portal. This void portal had clearly been privately granted to AI Xun'er by the powerful elders of the sect, allowing direct access to the core of the Undying Sacred Tome. Without their gifts, entering the Undying Sacred Tome would have required a considerable amount of cultivation techniques. This was the difference between ordinary people and disciples of powerful factions. Buzz. A hum rang out as the void closed, returning to stillness. However, at this point, the Undying Sacred Tome seemed to have reached its middle section. At first, The opening of the Undying sacred tome allowed these strong individuals to obtain some of the outermost treasures and items that could protect them from the sacred flame's heat, ensuring their safe entry. Now, these strong individuals had likely collected the necessary treasures and were heading towards the core of the Undying sacred tome. The Undying sacred tome was an extremely unique space, shaped like a sphere, with the outermost layer shrouded in the undying mist, obstructing sensing powers. The inner layers contained numerous treasures. Among these, the undying fire was the true prize, but this time, countless geniuses had entered the Undying sacred tome. Because the core area of the Undying sacred tome has a special existence known as the Undying Gate. Only those who reach the perfection level of 4-star Do Xian can pass through the Undying Gate smoothly. Otherwise, they will be repelled and cannot enter, no matter how powerful they are. Even some of the strongest individuals, who could shake the heavens with their strength, are deterred by it. Damn it, what exactly is this Undying Gate? At this moment, on a flat ground in the central area of the Undying sacred tome, outside a simple little hut, dozens of figures were gathered. Most of them were at the mid to late 4-star Do Xian level, with a few about to reach the perfection stage of 4-star Do Xian. However, they were all blocked outside the Undying Gate, their expressions rather disheveled, clearly having been repelled from within. Whoosh whoosh. With the sound of the breeze, a spatial passage emerged, and 2 figures appeared. There's just one last step to enter the Undying sacred tome. As soon as they stood firm, Xun'er spoke playfully. One last step? Xiao Yin frowned upon hearing this, sensing an ominous premonition. He then looked at the powerful individuals surrounding the simple wooden hut. Is that Xun'er from Earth Spirit Hall? Some sharp-eyed people immediately recognized the 2 figures as they appeared. Isn't that the famous first person of Earth Spirit Hall, Xiao Yin? The experts from the 5-sect alliance of Earth Spirit Hall have already entered. What are they doing now? The gathered crowd couldn't help but comment. What is this? Xiao Yin slowly approached and asked the group. This is the Undying Gate. Inside it lies the place where the undying fire exists. Only those at the perfection level of 4-star Do Xian can pass through. They directly answered, though there was a slight mocking tone in their voices. Clearly, Xiao Yin, with his mid-4-star Do Xian strength, was still far from the threshold. The Undying Gate? 4-star Do Xian perfection? Xiao Yan's expression turned strange as he understood the situation. According to my teacher's records, the Undying Gate was set up to prevent weaker cultivators from rashly entering. After all, the Undying Fire is ranked among the top 20 on the Sacred Flame ranking. Its power can be overwhelmingly destructive to anyone below the perfection level of 4-star Do Xian, Xun'er explained, walking up behind Xiao Yin. Tisk, tsk, tisk. Her waist. Her skin, like ice and snow. But wait, Xun'er has always been very aloof in Earth Spirit Hall. Why is she acting like this now? Though everyone was impressed by Xun'er's beauty, they couldn't help but feel envious of her gentle demeanor now, like a little girl at home. Xiao Yin, with his mid-4-star Do Xian strength, somehow managed to tame Xun'er into such a gentle state. The onlookers couldn't help but give Xiao Yin a thumbs up. True strength, after all, is innate, regardless of one's actual power level. Let's go inside and take a look. We should hurry, there are likely many strong individuals already inside. Xiao Yin, unaware of what the others were thinking, took a small step forward and moved toward the simple wooden hut. What a simple house. Is this a formation? As Xiao Yin opened the door, gray mist poured out, and a strange pattern appeared on the ground of the hut, forming a square formation. The formation was square-shaped on the outside, but inside it, there were hidden and profound patterns that sent a chill down their spines. It possessed an eerie power. What do we do now? Xiao Yin asked in confusion. Step inside. It will automatically check if you have the qualifications to enter the Undying Sacred Tome, Xun'er said softly. She wasn't in a hurry since she had already reached the perfection level of 4-star Do Xian. Passing through the Undying Gate was just a matter of time. The real concern was Xiao Yin. Xiao Yan's mid-4-star Do Xian strength, whether he could pass through the Undying Gate, was uncertain, But for some reason, AI Xun'er felt that Xiao Yin wouldn't fail so easily. Swish! Xiao Yin stepped forward and entered the range of the square formation. This guy, though he's lucky with women, the Undying Gate won't let him pass so easily. Let's see how this so-called first person of Earth's spirit hall fails, some onlookers said, their voices filled with schadenfreude. What is this force? The moment Xiao Yin stepped inside, a heavy feeling struck him, like a mountain pressing down on him. The pressure was overwhelming. Dragon God's first transformation. Xiao Yin did not hesitate, activating the Dragon God's first transformation. Immediately, his physical abilities were enhanced, just enough to withstand the immense pressure. Without the Dragon God's enhancement, Xiao Yin would likely have been severely injured by this wave of force. Buzz, buzz, buzz. In an instant, a gray mist enveloped the simple wooden hut, and Xiao Yin felt a burning heat rising from within. Gray flames. Childfire? Looking at the fierce gray flames spreading throughout the wooden house, Xiao Yin couldn't help but laugh. Although the Undying fire ranked in the top 20, it was just a child fire. Meanwhile, Xiao Yin already possessed 2 sacred flames within him. Therefore, this test, which might be incredibly difficult for an ordinary person to pass, was like a simple task for Xiao Yin. Undying fire, huh? Here I come. Xiao Yin smiled at the corner of his mouth. As his laughter faded, the flame mantra within his body began to run at full speed, easily devouring the gray flames that had filled the entire wooden house. Soon after, the square formation erupted in sharp, intense light, enveloping Xiao Yan's body. Moments later, Xiao Yan's figure vanished from the area, having used the power of the square formation to enter the core area of the Undying fire. It seems he succeeded. He truly is remarkable. No wonder the master always says this guy is a monster. AI Xun'er softly clapped her hands and pushed the door open, immediately following Xiao Yin as they both entered. That's simple. Watching as the two disappeared one after another, the powerful onlookers outside the wooden house couldn't help but exchange glances. They knew the strength of the formation inside the simple wooden house, but with such a powerful formation and its sealing effect, it seemed as though it posed no challenge at all in Xiao Yan's hands. Soon, the area fell into complete silence. Perhaps Xiao Yin, the so-called number 1 of the Earth's Spirit Hall, truly lived up to the title. However, none of that mattered anymore. The real important stage of the Undying Fires contest was about to begin. After Xiao Yin and AI Xun'er passed through the Undying Gate, the top experts in the Undying Sacred Tome gathered at its core. The true main event was now slowly unfolding. Glug, glug. A sound came as the Undying Gate's formation shifted, and Xiao Yin and AI Xun'er entered one after the other. This is truly the place where the Undying Fire exists. Xiao Yin couldn't help but speak after a moment, as both the Undying Leaf and the Undying Netherworld Sparrow within him released powerful waves of energy. This should be the real Undying Sacred Tome, Xiao Yin said with a fiery tone, looking at the strange space beneath their feet. It was a dim, vast expanse of nothingness. Countless gray specks of light covered the space like stars, and there were no adornments in the void, only these gray lights and some clear, transparent water flowing beneath their feet. Aside from that, this space contained nothing else. Let's go. Over there should be the real main event. AI Xun'er's beautiful eyes glanced toward a slightly elevated mountain peak. She could sense dozens of strong auras there, obviously the competitors for the Undying Fire. Let's go. The two exchanged a look and instantly surged forward, heading toward the mountain peak. In this space, the water on the ground only reached their ankles, and at the center, there was a high, rising mountain peak. Gray mist swirled around the summit, obscuring its shape, but numerous figures could be seen in the void, seemingly waiting for something. It felt as if some shocking power was about to awaken from within the gray mist. Xiao Yin? AI Xun'er? The figures standing at the edge of the mountain peak were surprised to see Xiao Yin and AI Xun'er approach. Humph. A mere mid-stage 4-star Docian trash, yet he managed to enter here. Truly surprising, Zhao Guang of the Five-Sect Alliance snorted coldly. That's not quite right. The fact that a mid-stage 4-star Docian could pass through the Undying Gate and enter here proves that this guy is no ordinary person. I think your mindset is too dark. You'd better leave now before you get beaten to a pulp, Xun'er said, casting a contemptuous glance at him. For some reason, ever since the end of the glacial Heavenly River event, the Five-Sect Alliance had become extremely hostile toward Xun'er, Xiao, and Xun'er. The cause was likely their involvement with the Xintian Palace experts, and now they held a grudge. Xun'er, you. The Five-Sect Alliance members' expressions darkened as they glared at Xun'er. Enough. Since you've entered, let's get started. Who will claim the undying fire in the end depends on everyone's fate. A calm voice spoke, coming from the Judgment Hall and Ruling Hall experts. As they spoke, the surrounding space fell into a deathly silence. Clearly, their strength was among the most powerful in the group. This space could only accommodate experts at the early 5-star Docian level. Anyone at the mid-stage of 5-star Docian would be completely rejected and unable to enter. The dozens of people present here, apart from the internal members of the Five-Sect Alliance and Xiao, were mostly at the early 5-star Docian level. Even the powerful figures from the Judgment Hall and the Tribunal had reached the peak of early 5-star Docian, only a step away from advancing into the mid-stage of 5-star Docian. How's the situation? Xiao and his companion quickly arrived beside Xun'er. Then their eyes warily scanned the surrounding people, asking the question. Among the dozens of people, there were 10 from the 5 great halls, while the rest were dressed quite strangely. Some of them even concealed their true faces with black robes, hiding their identities, and their auras were incredibly concealed, seemingly on purpose. These guys. Xiao furrowed his brow as he looked at the 5 mysterious black-robed figures standing nearby. Among the 5, one of them exuded an aura that seemed to match Mu Wushuang's very closely, but Xiao wasn't sure. As for the other 4 black-robed figures, their auras resembled that of evil power, making Xiao feel uncomfortable. Is this person Xiao, the so-called Xiao? The 5 black-robed figures seemed to have noticed Xiao presence, and one of them spoke softly. The voice was laced with a subtle fluctuation, which caused Xiao's sacred flame to stir violently within his body. If these guys aren't powerful sinners, then they must belong to the extraterritorial evil clan, Xiao directly confirmed at that moment. Since everyone is here, let's begin. The gray mist in front of you should be the protective shackles that guard the undying fire. Only by combining our strength can we destroy it. Otherwise, relying on individual power alone will not be enough to break these shackles. What do you all think? At this point, Xiao from the tribunal spoke, but his tone left no room for negotiation, sounding more like a command. Let's move. I hope none of you are holding back, or else, if these shackles corrode us, none of us will be able to escape, and we might even end up as fire slaves, said Deng Qing from the Judgment Hall, forcing a smile as he observed the restless expressions of the powerful figures present. Whoosh! Corrupt Heaven Hand. Judgment Lock. Judgment Sword. Spirit Python, still a snake. Heavenly King Seal. In an instant, an overwhelming number of Do techniques flooded the sky, transforming the previously calm void into a blazing sea of flames. At the same time, in the center of the Undying Sacred Tome, the gray mist surrounding the undying fire began to dissipate under the combined efforts of the powerful figures, revealing its true form. This is a towering ancient tree? After the gray mist vanished, a shocking scene appeared before everyone's eyes. What greeted their sight was a magnificent mountain peak, its slopes steep and treacherous, with 5 massive stone pillars that formed the entire peak, resembling the 5 fingers of a human hand. A solemn aura emanated from within, and at the very core of the 5-finger mountain, in the darkest space, there seemed to be an incredibly powerful force pulsing gently. Surrounding this 5-finger mountain was a colossal ancient tree, its deep brown branches enveloping the entire mountain. On the branches of the ancient tree, countless mysterious gray patterns began to appear, as though they were ancient markings from a bygone era. This ancient tree's power was so overwhelming that it sent a chill through everyone. At a hidden spot deep inside the 5-finger mountain, a faint gray flame flickered, moving like a spirit. That's the undying fire. Is that the undying fire? someone in the crowd exclaimed. Immediately, the dozens of people present fixed their gazes upon it, their eyes burning with excitement. On the 5 massive stone pillars of the Five-Finger Mountain, the green vines of the ancient tree began to grow, and in the dark corners beneath the pillars, a scorching wave of heat spread, pulling at everyone's hearts. Based on this terrifying power, it was easy to tell that what they were seeing was the Undying Fire. Legend has it that obtaining the Undying Fire grants true immortality, but whether the legend is true or not is uncertain. Nevertheless, this Saint Flame, ranked among the top 20, was undoubtedly attractive enough to draw their attention. The strong figures present were all the young elites of the 5 great halls in the ferocious soul domain. They didn't act recklessly, and their main reason for hesitation was the ancient tree with its green vines spreading throughout the Five-Finger Mountain. The mysterious gray patterns on the ancient tree made even these powerful figures feel a sense of helplessness. The origins of this towering ancient tree are definitely extraordinary. Atop the ancient tree, a peculiar force continuously suppressed the group, causing an intense discomfort that filled both their hearts and their do-chi. This oppressive energy seemed to hint that the tree's existence was either to protect or seal the Undying Fire. Despite Xiao Yan's powerful soul strength, he couldn't decipher the cryptic patterns on the tree branches, leading to his current conjecture. These patterns likely originate from ancient script. With our current knowledge, no one can recognize them, let alone break them, Xun'er said as she approached Xiao Yan and Xun'er. The group had divided into 4 factions. Xiao Yan, Xun'er, and Xun'er formed one. 2 individuals from the Judgment Hall another. The 5-sect alliance constituted the third, and finally, 5 cloaked figures stood together, making up the last. These elements, according to Master's records, formed the final line of defense protecting the Undying Fire. Only by breaking through them can we truly reach it. Otherwise, with these protections, we cannot even approach it, let alone subdue the sacred flame, Xun'er remarked. For now, don't act rashly. Follow those people, Xiao Yan said thoughtfully, gesturing toward the 5 cloaked figures. Whether it was intuition or something else, he felt that these individuals were far from ordinary. Understood, the 2 women replied immediately. Is that? It's the 5-point mountain formation, an ancient array, murmured Deng Qing from the Judgment Hall, as whispers spread among the gathered experts. Move now. These are treasures, one of the cloaked figures suddenly said, their voice laden with a chilling stillness. Before the words settled, 4 of them stepped forward in unison, forming a coordinated stance as they encircled the towering ancient tree. What are they doing? The eerie behavior immediately drew wary gazes from the other experts. Summon the spirits. The 4 cloaked figures intoned simultaneously. Stop them. Deng Qing of the Judgment Hall suddenly shouted, as if realizing something critical. Silver do-chi surged around him, transforming into a thunderous net that lunged toward the figures. Hmph! I'll hold them off. The 3 of you, make your move, barked one of the cloaked figures, a menacing presence among them. As his words fell, the other 3 formed a triangular formation, unleashing a relentless stream of sinister energy. In response, the gray patterns on the ancient tree began to stir as if awakening, exuding a commanding power. This one is incredibly strong, someone murmured from among the 3 factions, their gaze fixed on the cloaked figure. This place is ours now. You might as well leave while you still can, the man said coldly, his tone making it clear he had no interest in further dialogue. In your dreams. Attack. Deng Qing and Yu Xiao exchanged a glance, and their do-chi surged in unison. One wielded lightning attributes, the other shadow elements. 2 peak stage, early 5-star do-xian. You 2 must be the strongest here, the cloaked figure sneered. Fine. Defeating you will make the rest fall apart on their own. Should we step in? Someone from the 5-sect alliance asked. Not yet, Zhao Guang replied, shaking his head. The situation remained uncertain, and with the Undying Fire still concealed, conserving strength was the best course. What about us? Xun'er asked Xiao Yan. Stay here. Those 3 seem intent on the ancient tree. I won't let them succeed so easily, Xiao Yan said. His shadow suddenly separated from his body, vanishing from sight as he moved stealthily. You think you can act so secretively? Today, in the name of the Judgment Hall, I'll deliver justice on the spot, Deng Qing declared, his silver lightning roaring like a god of thunder, his presence overwhelming. Ha ha ha. The 5 great hall's prodigies are all gathered here. Perfect. A sinister voice echoed in the void. Today, not only will the undying fire fall into our hands, but you will all suffer great losses as well. The ominous voice carried a chilling resonance that reverberated across the space. Meanwhile, hidden in the shadows and closing in on the 3 cloaked figures, Xiao Yin suddenly felt a fierce turbulence within his body. Could it be that these guys are truly from the extraterritorial evil clan? Xiao Yin, sensing the strange disturbance, held his breath, stopped moving, and fixed his gaze on the dark figures blocking Deng Qing and the others. Beneath those shadows, he seemed to sense an incredibly unique force. This power was somewhat similar to light, yet it contained an extremely terrifying evil aura. Light demon? In the next moment, a phantom figure on the edge of the void suddenly awoke and spoke. This figure was, of course, the Demon Realm Overlord, the Black Fiend Dragon Wolf, who had been tailing Xiao Yin all along. Indeed, this place could only be entered by those below the early stage of 5-star Do Xian. Unfortunately, this didn't apply to the Demon Realm. This guy had used some mysterious method, channeling only his peak 5-star Do Xian early stage power into the Undying Sacred Tome, while the rest of his power remained outside. The reason for this was to protect Xiao Yin. Shadow, Yu Xiao sneered coldly, and his figure disappeared from everyone's sight. Trivial tricks. Light power. Seeing Yu Xiao's actions, the dark figure looked on disdainfully. With a sudden tremor, the eerie aura inside him vanished, replaced by a brilliant white radiance, dazzling like the sun, spreading across the entire void. How is this possible? A light attribute expert? Watching the dark-robed figure's actions, the powerful figures present were all stunned into silence. No matter how they looked at it, they never could have imagined that just moments ago, the figure was engulfed in a sinister, evil aura, only for it to transform into the divine and inviolable light attribute in the blink of an eye.